Hi, everybody. My name is Mrs. Longo, and I wanted to introduce you to some of our guests that we have today. We have our student council members, and we also have two very special guests that have agreed to speak to us about a very special topic, and that is Mrs. Deborah Weinstein and her daughter, Kara Weinstein. Both of these individuals are very special to me. I've known them for quite some time. And Mrs. Weinstein is a very active member in a group called MADD, and that's Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And I'm sure that is a club that she wishes she never had to be a part of. But we are going to let Mrs. Weinstein and Kara talk to us about their family member, Dave. Dave was Mrs. Weinstein's son, and Dave was Kara's brother. And unfortunately, he was killed by a drunk driver. And so I'm just going to let you guys talk to us about Dave and how that impacted your family, how that impacted all of you, and then we'll let the kids ask some questions if you don't mind. Okay? All right.
Well, David was 29 when he was killed by a drunk driver, so he was an adult. It was 2 days before his 30th birthday. So it was kind of a special time of the year for us. He was not drinking and driving. He was driving near the Mills Mall, and it was a beautiful sunny afternoon. So he was kind of hit from the side. His car was pushed off the road, and then they tried to revive him, and he, at the end, a day later, he did not make it. I wanted to tell you a little bit about that story because people think drunk driving only happens on New Year's Eve or at night on a Saturday, but it can happen at any time. And also, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers is not just about drinking and driving. There's other ways that people need to be very safe while they're driving. There's now distracted driving with texting. There's drug driving. So when you kids are young, but when you get older and you get the privilege to drive, it's really good to be very responsible and take it very seriously because there are people on the roads and you need to be very safe, both for yourself and for them. David was of course, my son. It's the hardest thing to do is to lose a child. But he was also Kara's brother. Sorry, guys. This happened 10 years ago, but it can hit you at any time. So you never really get over it. But he was a brother. He was an uncle. And sadly, he was a dad. He had a 9-year-old daughter when he died. So you can maybe even relate to that a little bit. I don't know, Kara, can you add anything to that a little bit?
Yes, so David was my brother. He was my best friend. I think about him every day, about, what he's missing out on, what I'm missing out on with him. I also wanted to add that he unfortunately was not wearing a seatbelt. So that's another thing I'd like to just, tell everyone that, and we don't know if he would have survived with the seatbelt on or not, but it would have, been given him even maybe a chance, so just remember to wear your seatbelts. And then also, my mom mentioned you all being responsible when you get older and driving, but also at your age, make sure that you are not getting into a car with someone who's under the influence. Right now you can be responsible for yourselves, to say, I don't feel safe in this situation and I don't want to get in this car. And hopefully you have someone you can call if you need a ride, that you can, get out of that situation. But you guys are, young, but you can be responsible in that way right now too. So, but yeah, David was my best friend and we grew up together. We were 4 years apart and I miss him every day.
Thank you for sharing that. I know that that was not easy. Guys, do you have questions? I'll go ahead and mute my camera if you want to unmute yourselves and ask some questions.
How old was he again?
He was 29.
So he wasn't drunk driving or anything, it was the other guy?
No, that is correct. He was not.
If you don't mind me asking, how are you coping and getting over the fact that he is gone now after 10 years?
Yeah, that is a very good question, sweetie. Probably my coping is that I do work with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and I, want to talk to kids, adults. Sometimes I talk with people who have been arrested for drunk driving and, try to, let them know that this is a serious and hopefully they'll never do it again. So my way to get through the grief is to help other people, to help MADD. MADD does a lot of good things. They help people with medical, they help people with if they have legal fees. We also help the police because, they do stops to try and get drunk drivers off the road also. So we just, my goal is, my mission is I don't want this to ever happen to anyone else's family. The other thing I wanted to say, and this is kind of off the subject, but I was thinking about it, that I wanted to tell you is also that drunk driving, didn't just hurt our family and our loved one was killed. But there was another family involved. The woman who killed my son, her family was involved. Her family was affected because she went to prison for 8 years. That's serious. So people don't realize, it's not just, I can drive, I can get home. It's not just about you all getting hurt, but, God forbid that you actually hurt someone or kill someone due to you making a bad decision. That's another effect of this. So there's no winners in this situation.
And I cope with it by, I just talk with my mom whenever, because grief comes in waves, and 1 minute you're fine or not thinking about it, and the next minute you're thinking about it, or something triggers you to think about it. There's a memory that comes up. So I like to talk to my family and to my friends. I'm a child therapist, and so it also helps me. I don't share this with my clients or anything, but it helps me to know that I'm helping others through their grief if they have them as well. So.
All right. Thank you so much. We really cannot thank you enough for sharing your story with us. And we are going to show this in our CC class, which everyone will see. So you will once again have reached a lot of people with your story. And we just want to say thank you so much for taking the time and being really patient with the technology as well. So
no problem.
We understand. Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, girls and boys.
Thank you.
thank you guys.
All right, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Bye.